All right, let's dive into it. Today, we're breaking down the absolutely wild final day of the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz. I mean, after 4 days of grinding it out, everything, and I mean everything, came down to 9 frantic games of Blitz chess to decide who takes home the trophy. And that quote from the broadcast really says it all, doesn't it? 9 rounds, that's it. For these players, this is where it all happens. This is where legacies, prize money, and crucial tour points are won or lost in just a matter of seconds. No pressure, right? So, as the final day kicked off, who were the main contenders? Well, the board was set for a massive showdown between 3 of the absolute best players in the world. Okay, so leading the pack, you've got the veteran Levon Aronian sitting pretty at 19 points. But right on his heels were Fabiano Caruana and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Now that 2-point cushion Aronian had, in Blitz, that is a huge, huge advantage. It puts all the pressure squarely on the guys chasing him. Just how big of an advantage are we talking about? Well, the broadcast's own stat model gave Aronian an overwhelming 81% chance to win the whole thing. So yeah, he wasn't just the favorite, he was, for all intents and purposes, the man to beat. But you know how it goes. Even with the stats practically screaming Aronian's name, the commentators couldn't help but have a little fun with it, joking that none of them had actually picked him to win. You gotta wonder, is that the classic commentator's curse in the making? Well, we're about to find out. So the stage is set. You're the leader. Everyone expects you to win. How do you handle that kind of pressure? Let's take a look at how Levon Aronian navigated his path to victory.
You know, Aronian didn't need to be spectacular. He just needed to be solid as a rock. And that's exactly what he was. He played with this incredible calm, the composure of a seasoned veteran. It was all about managing his lead, controlling the games, and just not taking any crazy risks. It was a total masterclass.
But hey, even the most experienced players in the world are still human. And in one absolutely critical game, Aronian had a moment of pure human error. A slip-up that could have completely derailed his entire tournament. The mistake wasn't even strategic. It was physical. He touched the wrong piece. And in chess, as you know, the touch move rule is brutal and absolute. In just a split second of distraction, he picked up his knight, instantly realized his mistake, but it was too late. He had to move it, and just like that, he blundered a key pawn for absolutely nothing. A near disaster. The commentators nailed the description of the moment. You could literally see the instant regret flash across his face. It's that horrible, sinking feeling every chess player has felt, just, magnified by 1,000 on the biggest stage imaginable. And this is what separates the champions from everyone else. Instead of just collapsing after a blunder like that, Aronian took a breath, composed himself, and defended like his life depended on it from a much worse position. He somehow managed to claw his way to a draw. He bent, but he did not break. And that crucial 2-point lead, it was safe. Now we get to the game everyone was waiting for, the showdown between number 1 and number 2. This was it. This was Fabiano Caruana's last real chance to close that gap and put some serious heat on the leader. A win for Fabi here could have changed everything. But it just wasn't meant to be for Caruana. Aronian played a magnificent game. He completely withstood Fabi's attack, defended his position like a fortress, and then, when the moment was right, he clinically converted his advantage. It was an absolutely crushing defeat for Caruana that pretty much sealed the deal for the tournament. So while the leader was holding strong, his main challenger was doing the exact opposite. Let's talk about the shocking collapse of Fabiano Caruana, a guy who was actually leading this tournament just a day earlier. I just want you to look at this number for a second. 11. It represents a streak. A long, painful, unbelievable streak for a player of Caruana's caliber, stretching from the previous day all the way into this one. And here's the punchline, 0. For 11 straight Blitz games, Fabiano Caruana, a former World Championship challenger, mind you, failed to win a single game. Not one. It's just mind-boggling. The commentators were basically speechless, and this quote just sums it all up. For a player who had absolutely dominated the rapid portion of the event, this kind of freefall was, well, it was almost unbelievable. Something was clearly off, and his struggles were just on full display in a late-round game. With a chance to help lock up second place, he blundered on the very last move of the game. He just forgot his rook was under attack. It was such a painful moment and a perfect symbol of his incredibly difficult run. But despite the total collapse, you have to give Caruana credit for his resilience. He somehow managed to pull himself together for that final round, got a crucial draw, and that was just enough to hang on to second place by a thread. It was a shaky finish, for sure, but he did manage to avoid a complete and total disaster. Okay, so when the dust finally settled, we had our champion. But the results from this one event have major implications that go way beyond just this one tournament. Let's look at the bigger picture here.
The official coronation moment actually came with 2 whole rounds left to play. After he secured a draw, Aronian's lead became mathematically impossible to overcome. And just like that, he was the champion. But the real fallout, the thing that really matters long-term, can be seen right here in the overall Grand Chess Tour standings. This one result caused a massive earthquake in the race for the finals.
So why does all this matter so much? Well, for starters, the whole race for the Grand Chess Tour finals in Brazil got completely reshuffled. Aronian, who came into the Sing in last place, leaped all the way up to second in the overall standings. It's an incredible jump. And at the same time, Caruana and MDL grabbed just enough points to keep themselves firmly in the hunt for a spot in those finals.
So the board is basically reset, and the pressure is higher than ever. With the last qualifying events just around the corner, the big question isn't just about who won today, it's about who has what it takes to conquer these final events and punch their ticket to Brazil. The race is far from over.